All right, welcome back. So we've got our first two layers done, and I have noticed something I don't like about these first two layers. Let me show you. Layer 2 is okay. Layer 1 is a problem because it's really big. This is gonna be the flat base of my pumpkin, and I don't want it to be quite this big. So I'm gonna fix that, and to do that, I'm gonna right click on my profile over here and do Edit Sketch. And what I wanna do is, this is gonna be the size, wherever it crosses this red line, is the size of the base. It's just too big. So I'm going to take this line, drag it up a little bit. Maybe yours isn't problematic like this, but I'm going to then drag this one over, maybe bring this one over a little bit more. And I want this to cross at around about 30. It's kind of where I want it to cross. And then once I do that, I'm going to move this, maybe move that a little bit. And then that might make me move some of this just a little bit. I think that looks pretty good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the sketch, and notice that it's gone ahead and it's fixed that bottom for me, so it's not quite so there. And I'm going to come in here and I'm actually going to drag in this just a little bit on layer 1. I don't want it to be quite that low-B at the bottom. Okay, so turn layer 2 back on, and you can see maybe a little less low-B there too. Perfect. All right. Now we're ready to rock and roll. Let's finish up and do our last. We're going to do a layer on this point, this one, here, and that one. This will be a weird one. I'll show you what it looks like. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create an offset plane. I'm going to hide layer 1 and 2 so it's not in my way. I'm going to offset it from this flat plane at the bottom here. And I'm going to, instead of distance, I'm going to do to object, and I'm going to do this third one next, and click OK. Now I've got something to put my plane on, or my sketch on. I'm going to tip it a little bit so I can see what's going on. And then I'm going to do Control-Shift-Z for the Intersect tool. That's the shortcut for it. And I'm going to click on the curve here. Okay. That's where my curve passes through my plane. And now I'm going to do Create a Polygon, Inscribe Polygon, starting at the center, moving out, Tab 10. I'm going to turn on construction lines and then go out to that purple and click. Now I'm going to come here and hit Create Arc, 3-point arc, X to turn off construction lines. I'm going to click over here on this side so I don't, because sometimes this sketch will get in my way of selecting things. Click on one side, click on the other corner, drag it out to something low-B looking, and then quickly do a circular pattern. I want a circular pattern. This shape, I'm going to pattern it around this center point, and I'm going to do it 10 times. Enter. And now I can just grab any of these and make them more or less low-B. I think that looks pretty good to me. It's really a taste thing. Finish sketch. And the nice thing is, once you do all the work, you can come back to these sketches and you can just change their low-B-ness and see how it affects the overall design. It's pretty cool, all the features you have control of. All right, now that layer 4 is done, so I'm going to, sketch 4 is done, called layer 3, enter, and then I'm going to hide that layer, and I'm going to simply do the same thing over again. I'm going to grab the construction offset plane, I'm going to do it to an object, and I think I'm on this one here. Let me turn this layer on just to make sure. Yep, I'm above that layer, so I'm going to click OK. Create my sketch on that plane, hide that lower layer because it's going to be confusing. Control-Shift-Z, tip it over a little bit so I can see what's going on. Click on the profile, click OK, and then create polygon, inscribe polygon at the center, not this dot up here. I want to make sure I'm going from the center of my sketch always, otherwise it'll be all messed up. Turn construction lines on. Click out to this. Oh, I just screwed up. I made a 6-sided one. You want to make sure your number of sides always stays the same. Fusion will actually not have a problem with a different number of sides. It's just going to turn 10 sides. It's going to merge them 10 into 6 sides and then merge back out. It's going to look like really wonky, but maybe you want a really wonky looking one. I don't know, try it out, see what you think. You can always fix it later. Polygon Tool, Inscribe Polygon, center here, tab 10, and then out to the purple. Perfect. Create an arc, a 3-point arc, X to turn off the construction lines, click from one corner to the next corner, get some lobe on it, and then do a create circular pattern, pattern this object around this center point, and we're going to click 10. Enter, places it. I can grab this lobe and make it more or less lobey. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to do a little bit extra actually. As I approach the top of the pumpkin, I give it a little bit extra because it's coming over an angle. Finish sketch. I'm going to name this sketch layer 4. Doing great so far. I'm going to hide layer 4, put my construction line on. This time I'm going to always go, I'm going to hit the home view because I'm a little lost. There it is. I'm going to hit the bottom plane, and then I'm going to go to object, and then click up here. Whenever the rotation gets weird for you, clicking on the home button up here on the rotation cube will kind of reset you back to the main view. You can see where everything is. If I hit a front view now, you can see mine is lined up with just the top here, which is what I want. Okay, home. I'm going to create my sketch on this plane, tip it a little bit so I can see what's going on. I'm going to do Control-Shift-Z for intersect, and I'm going to intersect this blue line right here. And notice that it actually goes above the plane and then comes back down through. That's why it gave me 2 dots there. I'm going to click OK. Now I'm going to create a polygon, and again, Inscribe polygon. I want to go from the center of my sketch, not try and go from this dot down here. Center of my sketch, out. I'm going to hit Tab, and then 10-sided. Come over here, turn the construction on, and I'm going to choose the outside dot. It doesn't really matter which one you choose. And then I'm going to come here to create arc, 3-point arc to this corner. Oops. X will turn off the construction lines, and then I don't want this, right? I just want a nice blue one in the end, kind of lobey. And then I'm going to do create circular pattern. I'm going to create the pattern using this one. Click center point here. That's my center point, and I want 10 of these. Enter. And I'm going to make this one pretty lobey because it's right at the very top. I want to, come on. There we go. I'm going to be pretty lobey. I don't want to go beyond that. I'm going to keep the center point of the lobe inside the polygon. I'm going to go pretty lobey like that. Finish sketch. And then I need to do another one down below. Now at this point, what happens is the pumpkin goes from being an outside lobe to coming down the other side. So it's going to be kind of it's going to be like inside the polygon now. I'll show you what that looks like. I'm going to hide this sketch again and just do that same process over again. I'm going to create an offset plane. I'm going to offset it, home view, offset it from the bottom here, and I'm going to go up to this point now. So change it to object and up to that point. Check it real quick from the front. Yep, that's at that point. I'm going to click OK. And I'm going to create a surface here, and I'm going to do Control-Shift-Z, and I'm going to intersect this blue line. Let me turn so we can see what happens. Notice it's going to give me a point here and here because it goes through the plane twice. I'm going to click OK. I've got those 2 purple ones. I'm going to use the inside one this time. I'm going to create a polygon just like before. Inscribe polygon from the center of the sketch. Turn on the construction lines. Tab 10. And then go to this inside purple one right here. This is where things go a little different. X to turn off construction lines. I'm going to come down to arc, 3-point arc. I'm going to click on one corner next to it. This time, instead of dragging out like this, I'm going to lobe it on the inside because it's coming over the top now. So like about like there-ish is fine. And then I'm going to create circular pattern here. My center point is here, and then 10, and enter. And now I can adjust the lobiness. What I don't want to do is this. See how they start crossing over like this? I don't want any crossover. That's going to cause a problem in the next tool. So you can see I still have a little bit of crossover there, so I'm going to just reduce it down until I can see, okay, now I'm not crossed over at all. All right, and I'm going to finish sketch. And I didn't name this last sketch, so I'm going to come back here, delete, click on this one and go layer 5, enter. And then the sketch I just made, I'm going to call this just the top layer. Although layer 6 would work fine as well. Okay, let's turn back all the layers on and just kind of see where we ended up. And I'm going to hit back to the home view, and you can see kind of what we've done. We're creating this kind of lobed shape for the Fusion to follow that pattern along, and we decided on the size of them based on our outside profile of it. So that looks pretty cool. The next tool is quick and easy to use. Let's do this before this video ends. It's called the Loft Tool. What it is under the Create menu, come down and find Loft. Loft allows you to go from one shape and extrude up to a different shape, which is really strange. Like you can see, this square will get smoothly wrapped into a circle on the way up. It's a super powerful and cool tool. In our case, it's not going to be a different shape, it's going to be a different size shape. So it's going to smoothly wrap around the outside skin here. And these are like ribs it's going to go around. So I'm going to click on Loft. I'm going to zoom in down here, and I want to click on this so I get that black outline of that first layer. I don't want to be on a point like this, or on this point like this. I want to be in the middle here somewhere. So click, and that's the first shape. As soon as I go up to the next layer and I click again, notice that what Fusion did, it lofted it. So it said, hey, this one goes out to that one. Now right now it lofted in a straight line because it's just two shapes. What I'm going to do now is when I click on the third shape, it's going to change that. And instead of being a straight line, it curves it so that it can hit these two lines smoothly, or these two shapes smoothly. And now I'm going to click on this one. That'll adjust that curve a little bit. And now I'm going to click on this very top one. I don't want to click on the little one yet inside there because it's the last, it's this top layer. I'm going to click on this one right here. It's going to curve around. Now, clicking on that last layer is hard because it's below the layer above it. To do that, I'm going to just hover over it. And notice how I'm right now, if I click, I'm going to select that top layer. Instead of clicking, I'm going to just click and hold my left mouse button. It'll bring up this menu showing me everything that's under my mouse right now. So you can see that's that top profile. That's the profile I want. That's the profile down below, and then that's the profile down below. All of those were underneath my mouse button. So I want this profile, so I'm going to click on it, and it just curled the pumpkin over. How cool is that? So I'm going to click. There's a few things you can mess with. There's one here called Connected. You can change the Connected to Direction, and it will change it'll try to match back to the direction that you want. So I'm going to try it that way and then try Connected again. I think I like the Connected a little better for mine. Yours might look better. It looks a little too lumpy at the bottom there, I think. So I'm going to do Connected. And then I think that's pretty much all you want to mess with. You can try some other stuff. This shape doesn't do well with rails. We haven't built it for that. And then we're going to click OK. And I'm going to turn off the profile. We just got our pumpkin. And that looks pretty sharp. Yay for us. So you can see that flat bottom we have, so it can sit nice on a table. And then from there we have, our top and everything else. Awesome. Let's call that done for this one. In the next video, we'll learn how to add a stem and make that stem look really cool and realistic. And then we'll cut jack-o'-lantern face into it, and then we'll cut a lid into it. So we got a few more things to do, but great job so far.